Okay, I can't play that because I'm already probably gonna be in trouble. Great morning, great morning, great morning, great people. Welcome to this morning's message. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday, happy Wednesday. Look, that song, it was controversial. Controversy. It was controversy. It was, and to play it again. I only needed that one part. Shout out Rod Wave. Shout out Kevin Gates. Right now, today, let go. Y'all, today is a great day and great amazing things are going to happen for us today. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're feeling good. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Bible Clarity. Welcome to this morning's message. Today is going to be fantastic. Oh, wait a minute, y'all. I had forgot to bring my mic back, didn't it? I was playing the song. Y'all couldn't even hear me, could it? Don't be judging me. I had forgot. That part of that song was importantones. I hope y'all are doing well. Today is Do the Work Wednesday. We're going to talk about it. It's an interesting message that the Lord gave me this morning as we're getting ready to go into the book of Job. And when we're going into the book of Job this morning. For Bible Clarity, y'all, we're in the book of Job, Job 29 and 30. We almost done with the book of Job. The Lord gave me an interesting message this morning, but I receive it. And it's crazy because it actually, if y'all been over here with me, then y'all already know I feel like I'm living out many parts of the word. And so this is it actually, as I read this, and I've read the book of Job before, but yesterday I actually had a conversation with my daughter that was very similar to what is in the book of Job that we're getting ready to talk about. I had to read a child. This will be my third time reading these two chapters this morning because I read it in both translations just to make sure I wasn't tripping. So y'all come in, like the live, share the love. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get in the flow of abundance. Or let's do it. Let's get to it. Y'all, we are in the book of Job. Get your Bibles. Y'all know we are reading from the Message Bible. But I have read through both of these three translations, or this will be the third translation. And then the message is going to be good that is coming in behind this. Good lighting and good morning, enlighten. Good morning. Okay, y'all. So here we go. Tap the screen, share the live, share the love. Drop something in the chat that you're grateful for. Let's get into the book of Job. So we know that Job is at a point where he's basically kind of just him and his friends, they not really talking. Now he's just kind of speaking. Now he's just kind of getting some things off his chest, right? Some things that he has wanted to say. We talked a lot about that on yesterday's message. If you hadn't seen it, it's called If You Know, You Know. So y'all can go watch that on YouTube. It's up and posted on YouTube. Today, Job is still talking. He's just kind of giving his perspective on some things. And so, let's get to it. Here we go, y'all. Job 29 talks about when God was still by my side. So Job is getting ready to give, he kind of in his feelings, his spirituals a little bit, but it's understood, right? Here we go. Job now resumed his response. He's, of course, responding to his friends who basically been attacking him and going in on him about trying to convince him that he did something to deserve what it is that he is going through. So that's where we at with him and his friends. Oh, how I long for the good old days when God took such very good care of me. He always held a lamp before me, and I walked through the dark by its light. Oh, how I miss those golden years when God's friendship graced my home, when the mighty one was still by my side and my children were all around me, when everything was going my way and nothing seemed too difficult. Child, listen, anybody ever said, man, we gonna talk more about it in the message. Have you ever said, man, I miss like the good old days, the glory days? I don't know if they call them, what's the glory days? I don't really know what that is. The good old days, not the good old, child, that's the Dukes of Hazzard. That is not the same thing. Anyway, I'm back. With just the good old, I'm not gonna say that. When I walked downtown and sat with my friends. Now, y'all pay attention to this stuff that Job is going to get ready to talk about and how he's reminiscing on some stuff, because then we're going to talk about what it means in the message this morning. And sat with my friends in the public square. Young and old greeted me with respect. I was honored by everyone in town. When I spoke, everyone listened. They hung on my every word. People who knew me spoke well of me. My reputation went ahead of me. I was known for helping people in trouble and standing up for those who were down on their luck. The dying blessed me, and the bereaved were cheered by my visits. All my dealings with people were good. I was known for being fair to everyone I met. I was eyes to the blind and feet to the lame, father to the needy, and champion of abused aliens. I grabbed street thieves by the scruff of their neck and made them give back what they'd stolen. I thought I'll die peacefully in my own bed, grateful for a long and full life, a life deep rooted and well watered, a life limber and dew fresh, my soul soaked through with glory, and my body robust until the day I die. Men and women listened when I spoke, hung expectantly on my every word. After I spoke, they'd be quiet, taking it all in. They welcomed my counsel like spring rain, drinking it all in. When I smiled at them, they could hardly believe it. Their faces lit up, their troubles took wing. I was their leader, establishing the mood and setting the pace by which they lived. Where I led, they followed. Y'all, this message finna make so much sense. So basically, Job was that dude, right? He was that dude. He was that guy. He was the one. People would come in, they would listen to him, they would talk to him, they trusted him. He helped people. Like, he was that guy he was that man that was always there for everybody else, right? The pain never lets up, but no longer. Now I am the butt of their jokes. Young thugs, not young thugs, whippersnappers. Come on, why I considered their fathers mere inexperienced pups. But they are worse than dogs, good for nothing. Stray, mangy animals, half starved, scavenging the back alleys, howling at the moon. Homeless ragamuffins, chewing on, not a ragamuffin, Lord, chewing on old bones and licking old tin cans. Outcasts from the community, cursed as dangerous delinquents. Nobody would put up with them. They were driven from the neighborhood. You could hear them out there at the edge of town, yelping and barking, huddled in junkyards. A gang of beggars and no names thrown out on their ears. But now I'm the one they're after, mistreating me, taunting and mocking. They abhor me. They abuse me. How dare those scoundrels? They spit in my face. Now that God has undone me and left me in a heap, they hold nothing back. Anything goes. They come at me from my blind side, try to catch you slipping. They be trying to catch you slipping, don't they? Good morning, honey, one, good morning. They come at me from my blind side, trip me up, then jump on me while I'm down. Y'all, this message is going to make so much sense. They throw every kind of obstacle in my path, determined to ruin me, and no one lifts a finger to help me. Pause. We're going to talk more about it, but you ever been that person that did so much for everybody? You got everybody back, but then as soon as you fall off, you find out who really love you. We coming back to that in a second. That's why I played the song I played this morning. We come back to it. They violate my broken body, trample through the rubble of my ruined life. Terrors assault me, my dignity in shreds, salvation up in smoke. Come on, up in smoke. And now my life drains out As suffering seizes and grips me hard, night gnaws at my bones, the pain never lets up. I am tied hand and foot, my neck in a noose. I twist and turn, thrown face down in the muck. I'm a muddy mess inside and out. What did I do to deserve this? I shout for help, God, and get nothing, no answer. I stand to face you in protest and you give me a blank stare. You turned into my tormentor. You slapped me around, knocked me about. You raised me up so I was riding high and then dropped me and I crashed. Not crashed out. I know you're determined to kill me to put me 6 feet under. What did I do to deserve this? Did I ever hit anyone who was calling for help? Haven't I wept for those who lived a hard life, been heartsick over the lot of the poor? But where did it get me? I expected good, but evil showed up. I looked for light, but darkness fell. My stomach's in a constant churning, never settles down. Each day confronts me with more suffering. I walk under a black cloud. The sun is gone. I stand in the congregation and protest. I howl with the jackals. I hoot with the owls. I'm black and blue all over, burning up with fever. My fiddle plays nothing but the blues. My mouth harp wails laments. Y'all, let me just tell y'all that the Lord got a message about this morning. Good morning, honey one, and good morning. Y'all tap the screen, share live, share love. So let me just tell y'all. We finna get into this message. Y'all make sure that you go back and read this for yourself. Get you some revelationals. The Lord may want to say something else to you. I'm just going to share with y'all what he shared with me about this particular chapters this morning. Okay? It's a lot, but it's all going to tie together. Drop this in the chat. Ghosted. I was going to call this something else. I was going to call this right now today, but drop this in the chat. Ghosted. That's what the Lord gave me about this morning. All of us, we know what that is. We didn't been ghosted before. We didn't. It's like and let me tell you the way that the Lord put this to me. So as we're reading this in the book of Job, the scriptures that he pointed out specifically was Job 30 and 18. Job 30 and 18. So let me explain to y'all what he meant. And it's crazy because, like I said, I had a conversation with my daughter last night that was talking about this. So he specifically pointed out to me Job 30 and 11, where he said, now that God has unstrung my bow and afflicted me, they throw off restraint in my presence. So he was saying, when you are so let me explain how he said it. So first things first, you ever been up, like you all the way up, right? You up and everything's good. And just like Job, everybody love you. That's why I played Cuban Links this morning for the song, just for that one little part that Kevin Gates says when he's like, shout out Kevin Gates, shout out Rod Wave, when they like, all my life has been a struggle. You own, fall off, you find out who really love you, right? So that's the first. So when I was reading this morning, that's what the Lord was giving me. And normally, y'all, I don't read all three translations of this, but this morning the Lord had me read all three translations, because what he was talking about, and what even tripped me out even more, because me and my daughter talked about it last night. You ever been like everything going good, everything going right in your life, and everybody by your side? Like it's like you got mad respect. Everybody, like they know you, they love you. You're just this great and amazing person, right? And then as soon as something happened, all of a sudden you be looking for somebody, or you need somebody, and ain't nobody there. All of a sudden, when your life starts going down, the people that was riding for you, the people that was with you, the people that you thought was gonna be like around you, they nowhere to be found. Now they start treating you different. Now they looking at you different. Now those same people who you was helping and supporting and giving life to, and all of a sudden they're nowhere around. People, have you ever been that person where you give, and but then when you need, like nobody's there? And that's what the Lord was talking to me about. Like, how many of y'all have been ghosted? How many of y'all have been like, when you up and you got everything going for you, that's when everybody loves you. But then when you down and out, that's when people really want to kick you, right? So I don't be understanding all the time, but last night me and my daughter were talking about this because I spent the day with my daughter, y'all, and I actually was there with her a lot longer than I normally am. But she and I had like an amazing conversation last night, right? Good morning, y'all. Good morning. And so we had this like it was such a healing conversation. It was very therapeutic, things that had needed to be said from 8-9 years ago, y'all. We had just amazing conversation. But part of that conversation was talking about how when you up, everybody up with you. Does that make sense, child? She would talk about you yesterday, because remember when I was like, you was like, she was probably calling you to tell she's like, she was probably calling you to tell you, can you stop by the store? She was, but anyway, I'll tell you about it in a little bit. So she and so she and I were talking about it, and it's like, it's crazy how the people that you help, the people that when you up, they were up too. When you got, they got too. When you have, they have too, right? But then all of a sudden lose some stuff, be at your lowest point, and it's crazy how them the folks that ain't nowhere to be found, ghosted. Them the folks that they ain't got nothing but negative to say about you. They ain't got nothing but bad things to say about you. This is what the Lord was giving me on this morning. Now we talking about this part, but we finna flip the script and talk about how the Lord still got it covered. Drop this in the chat. God got it covered. Somebody's message, I want to say, was in somebody's message, one of the horoscopes I did as well. So as the Lord was giving me that, he said, it's funny. And that's what it's, when I read this, the first thing I heard was Kevin Gates, right? When he's like, you own, fall off. You'll find out who really love you. You'll find out who really fool with you. You'll find out who is really on your side and really on your team. When you up, everybody up with you, right? But when you fall off, all of a sudden it's a lot of times, and it be people who be benefiting you from, or benefiting from you being up. But when you not up, all of a sudden everybody gone. But God's got it covered. So that's the first part of what he talked about. And so he said, but that shows you people but not God, right? People, but not God. Okay, so the next part he said was, he took me to Job 30:18, and he said, in his great power, God becomes like clothing to me. And what he was talking about was like, when you fall off, you find out who really love you. But even through the trials, Job still recognized that God was with him. Even though he had all these things coming up against him, even though he had all these difficulties and challenges coming up against him, even through all of that, he still acknowledged and recognized that God was still with him. He says, God becomes like clothing to me, which means he still has it covered, right? He still got you covered. Even if you're going through the mud, even if you're going through the challenges and the difficulties. And ain't it a blessing to know? I'm reading exactly what he gave me this morning. Ain't it a blessing to know that he still got you covered, shielded, protected? Ain't it a blessing to know that God's presence is seen is like a shield against life's challenges, physical challenges, spiritual challenges, whatever it is that you're going through. He still got you covered in suffering, even if you're suffering in every way, even if you're being oppressed, even if you feel bound. But he's like, it's like God may be allowing these things to come up against you, but he still got you covered. Like, he still got your back. He still got you clothed. He still got you protected. He still got you covered with whatever it is that you're going through. And that's what he said this morning. So he said, even, and he gave, and maybe, I don't know how you'll interpret it, if when you go back and read it, or if you read it, even if you're going through stuff, them same folks who fell off, I need you to understand that he's going to replace them with people who are better. Message. He's going to replace them with people who are better. And that's when I'm so grateful, y'all, because in this season of my life, I can remember going through a spell where I was missing you know what I'm saying, whether it's family, whether it's friends or whoever it is, when you going through stuff, especially when you at your lowest point. When you at your lowest point and life coming up against you hard, that's when you think that folks really gonna ride for you. They really gonna be there for you. But you'll be amazed that it's not those people that fell off that were really the ones that were supposed to be around you. Does that make sense? I tell y'all this all the time. I am so grateful for the people that God has put in my life now, not the people who I was mourning and yeah, because guess what? That's what they call fair weather, right? And I don't feel like in this season, I don't feel like I have any fair weather people around me. The Lord had to remove a whole lot of people in order for me to have the right people around me. Does that make sense? But he has to give you that. So for some of you, you may be in a season where them folks was the ones that was in your face, the ones that maybe you're even mourning people who have fallen off or fallen away or fallen back. The Lord said, don't mourn them. Don't feel no type of way, because he's going to surround you with better people. He's going to surround you with people who going to celebrate you, lift you up, and be with you when you up or with you down. Does that make sense? And those are the kind of people that we want to surround ourselves with. Message. So if you're going through a season where you have people that are falling off, let them fall away, because the Lord will certainly bring new people in to replace them. And even if you end up being down to nobody, I promise you the Lord is going to send you back somebody when you're ready for those relationships, when you're ready, when you've done the healing from the old relationships that weren't really they were a benefit. You were a benefit to them, but maybe they weren't a benefit to you, but they were just around you, right? So you have to, so in this season, know who, like, appreciate, you learn to appreciate the people that God brings into your life now, more than those folks who basically was, as long as you had it good, they had it good, they was good. Yes, Shay says surround yourself with like kingdom minded people. And that is the goal. I am so grateful, y'all, because I can remember last year, especially when I was like in Dallas and just going through my like the worst part of my struggle, being so alone. Like I felt so alone. Even though I had God, I didn't have anybody around me, not family, not friends, not nobody. The Lord has literally had me in isolation with no friends or anybody, y'all, for 3 years. And up until recently, he just started introducing people in my life. And so the people that I have in my life now make them other folks, whether it's family, friends, or whoever it was, it make me be like, thank you, Lord. Drop that in the chat. Thank you, Lord. Because sometimes we be mad when the Lord remove folks, but the Lord might be removing people for a reason. So we thank you, Lord, for removing and replacing. Thank you, Lord, for bringing the right people in. Because the thing, most of us, a lot of us have gone through so many seasons of the wrong people being around us that when the right people come around, you really appreciate them. Y'all know I say this all. I'm so grateful. And I still don't have but a couple folks around me, but I'm so grateful for the ones that's around me, the people who've been rocking with me in this season of my life. I'm grateful for the people who continue to surround me, because the replacements were so much better. Does that make sense? The replacements are so much better. So that's the first part of it. For some of you, if you're going through a season of like Job, and we're reading this, right? Look at Job's friends. They were his friends, but look at how they were talking to him. Look how they were treating him. Look how it was like no compassion for what he'd gone through. The people in the town ain't have no compassion. Like Job really went through some stuff, y'all. This wasn't just no little rinky dink, like, oh yeah, you gonna be all right. Like this man lost everything. And and a lot of times you'll find when you're at your lowest point, People will kick you while you're down. That's why you got to go to the Lord and ask for strength against those type of people. You got to, because people will really kick you while you're down. And the people is not all the time, but sometimes, y'all, it's the people that you would least expect. So you got to remember that, because understand now, on the flip side of that, remember, y'all, we're in a season of elevation. And so as the Lord is getting ready to bless you, he wants people around you that deserve to be just as blessed as you are. Hey, Papa, he wants people that he knows have the same kind of heart you have. He wants people around you who ain't going to kick you or leave you. Or why? Because 10 times out of 10, they've been done the same way. Does that make sense? That's so the replacements are people who are going to understand and ain't going to want to be treated. They done already been treated bad, so they're not going to treat you bad. Does that make sense? Because they know how it feels. And even if the people who were kicking you know how it feels, they may not have done the healing. Most of us, especially if you over here, you done enough healing to where you don't want to have to deal with these kind of people. You don't want to have to deal with folks like that who ain't on that type of time. This is what it means to be surrounded by like-minded people. Does that make sense? So that's the first part of it, because for some of you, the Lord is removing people to replace them with something better. Next, God's presence is seen. Okay, we talked about that. You got it covered. Even through trials, God will still take care of you. Sometimes it doesn't feel like God is there, but it's when things are the hardest that he's the closest. Drop this in the chat. He's always there. It's usually, when we're going through the hardest times, the most difficult times, it seems like that's the first time. That's when we start questioning, like, God, are you really there? That kick you while you're down. I'm talking about it. Listen, it is painful, y'all. And I kid you not, I had no idea that this is what the message was going to be this morning, y'all. I didn't even pull out my planner this morning, because the Lord gave me a whole different message, but it was really based upon this that I read this morning. What I had on the cat, what I put on the planner was team player. Sign me up. And you see it's blank. I don't even have anything, because the Lord said that ain't the message for today. I thought we was going, that's it. It says, sign me up. Sign me up for God's blessings, anointing, government, abundance. That's a team I want to be a part of. But I receive it, because even that goes into what we're talking about. God's got it covered. He got the right people on your team now. He's got the right people surrounding you now. And if somebody then fell away, you because we're not in a season of having to question people. This is for some of you. I feel like for some, well, I say some of us, he's putting you around people that you ain't got to question. He's putting you around people that they are who they say they are. Does that make sense? Like, I ain't got time to be trying. I am who I am. I'm this. It is what it is. I ain't got time to be trying to cycle through new friends. I'm too old for that. Right. So if I even get close to somebody, listen, it is what it is. And you ain't never got to question that. And I feel like those are the kind of people that God is trying to put around you, but it takes a minute to get to that point. You still gonna have discernment. You gonna know who's good, and who not to deal with. That's the kind of people that God is trying to put on your team, because that's the kind of team that we own. Does that make sense? Team players. So I had no clue that this is what the message was going to be until this morning, y'all. And it wasn't until I actually started reading that the Lord said, this is what I want you to talk about today. So I don't know who else needs this message. And I had no idea, y'all, that it was going to correspond with the conversation that me and my daughter had yesterday. But it's a true story. You never know. Like, it's messed up, because for some of y'all, I just got to put it out there, because the truth is the truth.com. A lot of time it's family, y'all. A lot of times it's family. It's family that when you at your lowest point, instead of them supporting you, it's almost like they will. They know almost they'll turn their back on you. It's when you at your lowest point, when you need the support, that you think you would get the support, but oftentimes that's not what you get. But I need you to be okay with God being the support, especially if you in your wilderness season, if you in a season where God has isolated you. Don't feel like you're the only one. We all have to go through our season of isolation, which means being by yourself. He may strip your relationships. But that's just time for you to really reconnect with the Lord and rebuild that relationship. Does that make sense? So All let's do it. Let's get to it. Again, I had no idea that that was what the message was going to be about this morning. Um, but that's what the Lord wanted to talk about, because he's removing message. He's removing and he's replacing, and he's bringing the right people, the right players on the team. Okay. He's adding new people, but he's removing, but he's taking away as well. Okay. So just know that. Whether this is in business, whether it's in your personal relationships, whatever it is, just know if he's removing, he's replacing with something better. Okay. All to do it. Here we go. Let's see what else we're gonna talk about. Y'all like the live, share love. Um, let's see what else Lord gonna talk about today, because he said ghosted. And look, the library, knowledge. So this is about wisdom, y'all, and knowing, like, when you know better, you do better. If you know, you know. Knowledge, learning, because we've learned our lesson. History, information. This talks about past times, documents, secrets, and looking beneath the surface. One thing, which I said, first things first, like, where did I hear this at the other day? There's whatever the scripture is, and I don't know how it's going to factor in yet, but the scripture that talks about a lack of knowledge, that's something me and my daughter talked about last night as well. Like us not knowing because of a lack of knowledge. But they're also giving me, in reference to this, what came up about the library yesterday. We watched the whole movie that was talking about the library. The other thing is about learning your lessons. You got to learn your lessons. For whoever this part of the message is for, if God has already shown you that something ain't, if that ain't that, then we got to learn that lesson. Because why? We trying to move into a new season. We trying to move into this kingdom life, right? So if God has already shown you that somebody ain't on the up and up, all I'm gonna say is don't go back. We can't. I feel like this could be jobs. It could be friends, but they're not really giving me that. It's more so going back into, they just said like business partnerships. So just be mindful, because there could be like some old, or maybe a temptation to go back into old partnerships. I received that, because child, listen, the Lord, I feel like it's a test to make sure that you're going to stand firm and stand 10 toes down on what this instruction is that the Lord has given you. So it's something about, you've learned the lesson, but you're so close to breakthrough. So don't be tempted to go backwards. I don't know. We'll see what else comes out about that. Which part? Okay. Believe that as you're building your business, your ministry, your relationships, or even just rebuilding yourself, that God is he's the closest to you, because that may be when you experience the most difficulty. If you're in the stage of building something up, bringing something to life, or just rebuilding yourself, if you are in a process of rebuilding yourself, first know that the work ain't easy, because there are many layers to peel away. Drop this in the chat. It's hard work, but it's good work. It's hard work, but it's good work. Okay. So whatever the work is that the Lord has you doing, just knowing it's hard work, but it's good work, and it's worth the work. Okay. It's worth the work. So just stay committed to it. I wanted to make sure I had my what's it called. Okay, let's see what else, because we didn't learn the lesson, and we don't want to have to spin the block. We too close to this next level, and we don't want to have to do it over. Okay, so pay attention to things. They just said, like, they're bringing up cycles. So it's like, pay attention to cycles that may be attempting to reintroduce themselves. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see what else. Yeah, like, just pay attention to old cycles. But for part of it, look, I can't make it up. But part of it is like, also look at the yacht. Then I'm telling you, because this is a new season. Let me see what this is. So first things first, let's talk about this. Connection, communication. For some of you, this is going to be an important time to make sure that you're tapped in, you're aware, and paying attention. True story. For the last couple of days, like, normally, like, even how do I say that? The Lord is still making adjustments. He's still teaching me, but he's also still requiring me to make sure, he's like requiring me more than he has been before, to stay in communication with him. And I hope this makes sense, because you're so close to something that's coming in, and I don't know exactly what's coming in for you, but you're so close to it. And so, even as an example, right? So let me give y'all an example of this. For about a week, like normally, for about the last week or so, normally, like I'm up at 4, really start moving around about 5. I pray, I'm listening to messages, I'm studying, I'm doing all that stuff. And I thought that I was going to be good. Like, okay, 7 o'clock, I can start, doing what I need to do. The Lord said no. He literally he put some check me in my spirituals, because he said, how do I say that? If the Lord is giving you an assignment and you have dedicated time to him, he said, give him back his time. Does that make sense? Give him back his time, because it's in that time that you are dedicating to him that he's really needing to speak to you and communicate with you, whatever that time is for you. What I did, I started trying to interject other things into the time that I had said was dedicated to the Lord. And he put some check me in my spirituals, and he was like, this my time, and anything after this, anything after I go live. So this is a true story. Like, the Lord will check you when you have told him something and you go back on what you have said. So some of you, the Lord may be putting some check me in your spirituals. If he has told you for me, from 4 o'clock until I get off this live, that's the Lord's time. It's the time for me to prepare. It's the time for me to pray. It's the time for me to study. It's the time for me to read the Bible. It's the time for me to get ready for the message, give the message, and whatever I do after that, he say, you good. But as the Lord is stepping you into this new season, this new level, this elevation that he has called you into, if you have contracted with the Lord and said you're going to do something, he said you're going to have to stand on what you told him, because it's going to be imperative that you keep order and you keep that time with him. And also, it's about learning to make the time with him sacred, because as you move through whatever you have to do throughout your day, it's like he's requiring us, especially if he's trying to give you more responsibility. If he's really, come on, God, he's really stepping you into your next level, you can't afford to miss the message. Does that make, come on, God, drop that in the chat. I can't afford it. So the last couple days, instead of me normally like taking a call, I was hopping on a call with my business manager at 7, right? But he was like, not today. And so yesterday I was like, okay. And so but I also remember I told y'all yesterday that he had me reading the book of Job before I came up here to give the message. So yesterday he kind of switched up, and I told y'all the way he was doing stuff. And I was like, okay, Lord, I'm tracking. But it was because he really needed to communicate with me so that I could come and give the message that he needs me to give in the way he wants me to give it. Does that make sense? So he was like, you need to he was like, you need to stay committed and stay focused. He put a little check me in my spirituals, because he will discipline you, but not because he's mad, but he's like, listen, I need you to be completely prepared for what it is the work that I'm giving you to do. So from 4 a.m. until 9 o'clock, that's the Lord's time. Like, literally, I ain't got no notifications on, nothing. So I don't know what that time is for you, but the Lord said, give him his time. Look, I will. Look, then you did. We'll change it. And we didn't get to talk about it yesterday because I was moving around and I had to go to my daughter's house. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. So just know that if the Lord is saying, if you have said to him, okay, Lord, I'm ready for my new level, I'm ready for my new beginning, then you're gonna have to stay in, you're gonna have to first keep that contract and keep your commitment to him. And then remember, because he comes first, seek the kingdom. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. If you want the things to be added unto you, whatever it is, you got to first keep your contract and your commitment with God. And there needs to be nothing that comes before that. Okay. That way he's able to keep you covered. Does that make sense? Now, this talks about communication, conversation, getting through, message, reaching out, notification. Okay. So just make sure that you're giving yourself time and a time and a place to receive what it is that the Lord, the wisdom, the knowledge, the insight, the clarity, the understanding that he's trying to give you. Just make sure that he's giving that to you, or that you're giving him the time that he needs in order to communicate to you. Message. Okay. What's this? Symphony is the next card to come up. This talks about harmony, synergy, assembly, organized. Told y'all this is about creating order, structure. This talks about collaborate, arrangement, leading, organization, and cohesion. Okay. Because what he's trying to do, y'all, he's trying to take the chaos out of our lives. So he's trying to create order in our lives. So because he likes to do things in order, right? So the way to do that is keep your schedule with the Lord, and then set yourself up, set your day up, set your work up, set your assignment up, however you need to do that so that your day can flow. Okay. So I hope that makes sense. Now, speaking of the next part, weren't we talking about ghosted? Talking about friends. And look, this is a symphony. Look at all these people, everything in unison. I can't make this up, y'all. The Lord don't do nothing is coincidence when it comes to the Lord. As we were talking about the old things falling away, the old people, the people that are now coming in to surround you, to play this next part of the game with you, to be in alignment with you, that you're surrounding yourself with. These are harmonious relationships. These are synergistic relationships. This is being organized and things being in order. So this is what the Lord is trying to do. So yes, he's going to replace with synergy. If you look at some of the environments, relationships, we know that God is not the author of confusion, right? So if we know that he's not the author of confusion, we got to know that he's going to try to bring us in harmonious relationships. I'm just telling you right now, I don't need no whole lot of people around me that I got to be arguing, fussing, and fighting with. Uh-oh. Not recording. Wait a minute, y'all. What just happened? Did the message go off? What did I touch? I can't see it. Okay, I'm back. Okay, I'm back. Y'all, I don't know what I touched, but I thought y'all was gone. Can y'all hear me over on the Facebook, YouTube side of the street? I don't need nobody around me that I'm going to be arguing, fussing, and fighting with. Who has time for that? Okay, thank you, honey. One. Who has time for that? I need relationships that are harmonious. Now, let me just say this. You're not going to agree with like you can have people in your life. You're not going to agree on everything, but that don't mean you're supposed to be fussing and fighting with people all the time. Who has time for that? Nobody's. Who wants to be? I was raised up and mama and them was fussing all the time. Thank y'all. Mama and them was fussing all the time. Like I'm not on that type of time, y'all. If you on that type of energy, we not gonna get along. We not. Why? Because I don't like fussing and fighting. I like harmony. I like peace. One of the things that you come on, God, one of the things that you will come to understand, especially if the Lord send you through a wilderness season and you out there by yourself, you will learn that your peace is so important. You're not going to be willing to give it up. So when we say if it disturbs your peace and disturbs your energy, I ain't on it. I can't, because I have learned to value peace so much, y'all. I'm talking about so much, till I just be like, if my spirituals is getting disturbed, that's one of the things that lets me know, because the Lord I'm so removed out of chaos that the chaos just disturbs my spirituals. Pay attention to the stuff. Look, you better say that peace of mind, baby, listen at me. I don't like a lot of chaos. That's why I be real comfortable just being in my little zone, in my little bubble, because it's peaceful. Because I'm not in a stage of life anymore where I'm battling with myself. Now, I got my moments. Don't misunderstand. Like, I have my moments, but the way things used to be in my life compared to now, ain't no way. And ain't no way I'm going back to it. Message. I ain't going, hey, ma, I ain't going back to it either. Because why? Because who has time for that? And so when the Lord starts to remove things from your life that were disturbing your peace, Child, be grateful for that. Please be grateful, because we want to be in harmony. The kingdom of heaven is harmony, it's harmonious. And I want to make sure that I'm living that life. On top of the fact that you can't hear in chaos. You can't hear in chaos. And I can't, and that's the other, and they're bringing that up as well. Like sometimes that's why if you don't have, this is why a lot of people find it difficult to meditate, because you can't always quiet your mind. But if you trying to meditate and you got a lot of people around you, it don't always work out. So take some time, be okay. Oh child, they finna go get somebody. Child, here come the popos. Child, why they acting up? I'm back. Child, the popos finna go get somebody. Okay, I'm back. Listen, if you can't surround, like sometimes you gonna have to find, and don't make excuses, make it happen. I don't care if you got to go sit in your car for 15 minutes. You deserve to have 15 minutes of peace, y'all. You deserve to have 15 minutes where ain't nobody bothering you, that you can just sit by yourself. With you in the tub, lock your door. Look, Blue said it's not me this. She said it's not me this time. Listen, give yourself that. Give yourself 15 minutes of me. That means 15 minutes of me time. Okay. You deserve that. Because sometimes you need to, it be enough to be in your own head and your own thoughts, right? Next, we have the yacht. This is adventure, affluence, luxury, travel, sophisticated. Oh, we receive it, prosperity, a life of comfort, wealth, and extravagance. Receive it. Receive it. Oh, that's why. Thank y'all. I told y'all everybody ain't gonna get this blessing. Child of popos. The popos is over there. Everybody, you, who is this? Who messages this? Let me just say this. You got a giving heart, and the Lord finna get ready to bless you. Now understand, the Lord is not giving us wealth to store it up. That ain't what He giving us wealth for. But I'm gonna tell you this: everybody don't deserve what. Don't everybody don't deserve? Come on, Diamond. Everybody don't deserve it. And you gonna be whoever this message for, you that person, you gonna want to help everybody. But the Lord is gonna put some check me in your spirituals, and everybody, He gonna tell you. This is why you also have to listen. This is why the Lord is also giving you wisdom and knowledge, so you'll know exactly what to do with your proceeds, your resources, your wealth, and your abundance, and what not to do with it. Who to help and who not to help. And you gonna have to listen, because the Lord will bless you, but the Lord blesses and He'll take it away as well. It's not going to be for everybody. You're not supposed to store it and hold it up and all of that good stuff, but everybody also don't deserve it. And so we have to, this is also why the Lord will start removing people, removing you out of environments, removing people, because He knows people's heart just like He knows yours. Okay. You will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust in you. Telling you, pay attention to that, because I've been told child that I feel a blessing coming, and I don't know, and this don't necessarily mean it's no big old financial blessing, but it may be an opportunity. There may be a door that the Lord is opening. And understand this: everybody ain't, come on, 523, everybody ain't ready to step through the doors that the Lord has prepared you for. Message: everybody is not ready to go through the doors that the Lord has prepared you for. They ain't did the prep work. So it's maybe at another time they'll be ready, but everybody ain't ready to go through the doors. Everybody ain't ready to have a wealthy life. Everybody ain't ready for abundance. If you know you've done the work in order to receive this, then the door may be opening for you, but everybody's not ready to walk through it. Okay, so you got to know that for yourself. What else, Lord? Are He gonna show you? Come on, the well, not the well. Deeper meaning, community, hidden emotions, social resources, support. I'm telling you, and this is clarifying the knowledge card. Not the woman at the woman at the well. I saw something about that the other day. Who posted something? I think I saw it on YouTube. I don't even know what else it said, but it was talking about the woman at the well. What it said, y'all? I think there was a post I saw that was talking about the woman in the well. And perception, sustenance, looking deeper, provided for, and consciousness. Understand it. Like, look, not, oh my gosh, this is such a good message. This is about, oh, that's why. Because everybody ain't thirsty for change. Does this make sense? Everybody doesn't have the same thirst for God that you have. Oh, this is even better because it ain't even about God. Everybody doesn't have the same commitment to changing their life that you have. Does that make sense? You know, people look at the friends that's up under here. I'm telling you, it's a lot talking about ghosted and the friend. I can't make it up, y'all. There's a lot talking about ghosted. I'm gonna come back to this in a second. And this is why the Lord is talking about He surrounded you with better people. He surrounded you with people who ready for what you ready for. Drop this in the chat. We ready. Everybody ain't ready, but the Lord is putting you around people who ready for what you're ready for. And those that are not ready to step through that door, you're gonna have to be like, all right, I see you when I see you. Shut up, Martin Lawrence. I was talking to my baby about you so crazy last night. Okay. So this is the not so let me in the example that the Lord has given about this is knowledge, wisdom, like knowledge, wisdom, understanding, um and a thirst. I don't know about anybody else, but let me just tell you, I'm so ready for the life to change. I'm so ready for my new season that anybody who's not just as ready for what I'm ready for is not going to understand why I got the grind like I got the grind, why I got the work like I got the work, why I be up at midnight watching videos or learning about recipes or whatever it is that you do, whatever your work is. I can only use my work. People, if they not don't have that same mindset or desire to change their lives, you know, sometimes people want to complain about their lives more than they want to change it. And I'm not in that season. I'm in a season where some got the shake, some got the change. So I'm always trying to learn, Lord, tell me more. Let me tap in. Let me find out. What do I need to do? What do I need to understand? What do I need to know? And it's crazy because the Lord really trying to give us the answer to the way out. But most people are not willing to go and actually look for it. They would rather complain about the circumstance than change it. And we're not in that season. We're changing our season. And that message is coming up, I think, on Friday. This season is changing, y'all, because we're changing the season. The Lord is giving us the ideas. He's giving us the wisdom. He's giving us the way to create wealth. All of this is talking about surrounding yourself with the right people, the right community, and even people that you can talk to about where you're trying to go, what you're trying to do. So the Lord is trying to incorporate us into communities that are ready to go. I'm ready to go. Okay. We ain't complaining, we changing, period. And we ready for it. Because if you anything like me, baby, this last season took too long. It took too long. It wasn't nobody's fault but mine. Because remember, we just thank y'all. We talked about cycles. You can keep yourself in the same cycle by not learning your lesson. I didn't learn. And so now I'm hungry for the knowledge, the wisdom, the insight, the clarity, and the understanding to help me get out. And so, but everybody's not ready for that. Does that make sense? So this says, I read that social resources, communication, paying attention, and this is the friends card. This is the whole message that we've been talking about today. This is about people. This is about your friendships. This says friendship, group, soul tribe, network, show up, hang out, social media. I'm telling you, this is about you understanding and saying, okay, let me. Child, he went and got somebody. Told y'all he was finna go get somebody. He had meant that in him spirituals. He went right on and got them too. This is about you knowing that the right relationships are for some of you are in your life now. And this is the thing. Come on, the son. This how you gonna know, because you ain't have to search for them. You don't have to search for the right people who are coming into your life. The Lord is going to bring them, and everybody's going to bring something different. Does that make sense? You ain't gonna, all your people, all your relationships, it's like business. Everybody got a different business, but everybody can add to the whole, the community, the kingdom. Does that make sense? So this is about you understanding. And some of you, this is like you may be hearing from, they just said long distance. So there may be some long distance friends or some people that one of the things that I know in this season, come on, the Phoenix. One of the things that I know in this season You need a kind of people around you that even if you don't talk every day, when you do talk, you can catch up. You can pick up right where you left off. If even if you don't talk, even if you there's no okay, how do I say that, y'all? Because I've heard it before. Somebody else said it. And this is a famous person, but they're bringing it back, and I can't remember exactly how she said it. But she was saying, like, what's her name? I can't remember, but I can see her face just as good. But anyway, she was talking about like the kind of friends where you may not talk every day, but even if you don't talk every day, you ain't got to worry about your friendship. Does that make sense? You if you even if you in business or just whatever these relationships are, like these are we all have stuff going on. Does that make sense? Like we all got stuff going on. Everybody, all of us are trying to build, grow, and develop. So don't feel no type of way. Does that I don't know who needs this message, but if there's someone who, how do I say that? I don't even know how's that even come? Like maybe before I ain't had that. I ain't dealt with this. So it's like if you don't no, I never had this problem. So it's kind of hard for me to understand. But suffice to say, you ain't finna Tasha. Thank you, girl. That is her name. That is her name, Blue. That is her name, Tasha. I thought that's what I heard, but I didn't know if that was her name for sure. Okay, her name is Tasha. So you ain't got to, I don't know what she played in, but I could see her and I could see her sitting on this couch. And all I know is she was talking about when you like having friends that even if you don't talk to them every day, y'all still all right. Does that make sense? Anyway, so them the kind of people that the Lord is surrounding you with. Like you don't have to question everybody's loyalty. Everybody just got stuff going on. Everybody got businesses. We building businesses. We doing kingdom work. We got families. We got children. And so for some of you, maybe you dealt with friends that were not like that. And that's the kind of people the Lord got to remove out of your life so he can replace with something better. Wasn't Tab I'm not sure if Tab was talking about that or not. I heard them say Tasha, but I wasn't sure because I don't know this. I think she has a twin, and I didn't know if it was her anyway. But I think her name is Tasha, but I don't know her last name. Okay, I'm back. So just know that, and it's people who just understand. It's like levels of understanding that you don't have to question. Okay, you don't have to question. So anyway, I hope that made sense. I'm telling you, come on, the thunderstorm coming out, clarifying. Somebody has a stage opportunity. Well, I receive it because y'all know what I saw yesterday, but someone has a stage opportunity. You may be a public speaker. Mm. You may be a public speaker, or maybe that's something that you desire to do, but it feels like there's an opportunity that's getting ready to present itself. But it may be unexpected. You may be asked to speak. You may be asked to message, to speak in front of a crowd, something like that. So don't be surprised, especially if that's something that you are aspiring to do. Message. Thank you, Tasha Smith. Um, Especially if this is something that you're desiring to do. I receive it. I'm gonna just say that and do. I desire to do. I want to be able to I just want these messages to go out to as many people as possible. So if the Lord blesses me with an opportunity to speak to more people, then I receive that. But for others of you, this may also be unexpected friendships and relationships that are coming in. This talks about a warning, an energy shift, opportunity to overcome, power as well. Power in numbers. I'm telling y'all, come on, we receive that. Some of you, you're getting ready to have some powerful friends, influence and affluence. Some of you, the Lord is putting you around some powerful people. This is people that not only know their power, but they know yours as well. Does that make sense? And it's almost like you stepping into, come on, God, like you stepping into this new level. Because remember, we talked about power and authority. Was that yesterday or the day before, whichever day it was? We talked about power and authority. And it's almost like as soon as you acknowledge and recognize your power, as soon as you step into it, as soon as you own your power, drop that in the chat. I'm going to own it. I'm gonna own it, because it's almost like as soon, come on, God, as soon as you step into it, it's like as soon as this, that's how quickly things are going to happen. But you have to step into it first. You have to be willing to say, okay, I'm ready for it. You have to own your power first, because believe it or not, there are people, message, there are people who see the power that you possess, but maybe you're still in a mindset of thinking that you don't have it. And I want to say this to, come on, family, I want to say this to somebody as well, because the Lord brought it up, and this is really the second day in a row that He's brought this up. Don't you, I'm going to say it again, don't you let nobody try to make you feel, let me just, how do I say that? Because I don't want it to sound bad, but y'all know I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I don't, God has you on your own journey, okay? Your journey is your own. There's not a single person that has any, God has you right where He wants you. I feel like I'm gonna have to keep saying that this week, because it's something about, I'm gonna say it. It's a, let's use coaching as an example, right? Different people need different kind of coaches. Does that make sense? Some people need to be coached into your power, into your confidence. Come on, 222. The thresh, come on, I just heard threshold. It's like knowing, like some coaches, different coaches coach in different ways. I don't know. Well, I'm gonna just talk about it because we're talking about team player, right? As well. If you are a person who grew up without nurturing, without compassion, without, or if your life was hard insofar as people were always really, really hard on you, you may not need a coach. You may not resonate. I don't even know why that we receive it, Lord. That may not be the type of person that you need speaking life into you. Because understand, y'all, the way that you grew up can sometimes give you an aversion to the way people present themselves. Does that make sense? I'll use myself as an example. I didn't have, none of the women in my family were nurturing. None. I didn't have a nurturing mother. My mama was hard on me. Okay. She was hard on me. And so, but the reason was because that was because her mom, it's generational, right? So what I know is, as I've gone through and looked at learning from different people, and I don't respond well. And I'm not in a season where, no shade, and I don't feel this ain't no nothing to anybody. I don't need nobody who's always gonna be yelling at me. I got enough of that when I was a kid. And that doesn't motivate me. It doesn't motivate me for somebody to talk down on me. Does that make sense? And I don't know maybe this is not even just in regards to coaching, but that's the way it's coming through for me. Like, that's not what I need, because one of the hardest things for me to do was to step into my femininity. Does that make sense? Why? Because it was not something that I was ever really able to do. If you're a woman who has always had to be in control, like always, you've always had to be in your masculine energy, if you will, and you had nothing but masculine women around you, and your grandma, and everybody, you may not respond well to someone who is not, whether male or female. I don't need no, I don't, yes, just talk to me and not at me. And so for whoever this is for, Start surrounding yourself with people who, and this is even for me, like, I'm in a stage of life where I'm fully tapped into my femininity and my feminine energy. Even though I'm very much in control and I know my power, there's a difference. And this is what they're, it's like I'm trying to make this make sense. And I hope this is tracking for whoever this part of the message is for. You can be in your power and you can still be feminine. Does this make sense? You can be a person of authority and let your femininity speak for you. I don't know if this need to be a whole message or not, and I don't even know why this particular part is coming up, but it's coming up. Okay. And if you are listening to people, you realize that you don't have to be yelled at. And a lot, and I'm just being honest, like, I receive the things that the men coaches are talking about, but I'm gonna let the men coaches coach the men. Does that make sense? Because I don't need a man yelling at me, hey girl, hey, I don't need a man yelling at me, because that does not make me embrace my femininity. Make sense? I hope that made sense for whoever needs that. We in a different season, whoever this message is for. We gonna tap into this divine feminine energy. Let the men coach the men. If you're, and I can't tell you what to do, but find you somebody who's not always yelling at you, especially if, or I'm gonna just be honest, like, the thing I think that, man, I was not expecting to talk about this, but we receive it, Lord, because I don't know if this is about your friendship circles or how the Lord is bringing this through, but he wants us to start tapping into the power of our feminine presence. It's why part of my femininity is me loving to wear makeup. It doesn't take away from my power or my authority. I'm not trying to hide behind my makeup. I have on less makeup today than I normally have. But makeup doesn't make me. My power and my authority comes from me knowing who I am and residing in that energy. Whoever this is for, come on, God, this is like the missing link that's keeping you from receiving the things that it is that you want to do. It's like gosh, man, you have to tap into your receptive energy, and that's what's going to bring in what it is that you're trying to receive. Does that make sense? Hmm. That's your missing link. If you've been very masculine focused, very action focused, because masculine energy is doing, and feminine energy is receiving. We changing the season. We gonna have to talk more about this, but this is where they're bringing this up on the luxury, this card, because we got to tap into some different energy to start receiving the things that we want. This is why, I mean, if you, well, I don't know how, this is why I call God daddy, because to him, I'm a king, but I'm a queen, and so he treats me as such. He doesn't yell at me. He ain't talking down on me. For whoever this part of the message is for, ladies, let me just tell you this. If a man is talking to you like that, it's a no. You can correct me without yelling at me. You can correct me without being condescending. You can correct me without lowering me, because I'm not going to respond well to it. Okay. Uh, huh. This was nowhere on my radar. Look, Cherie said you so tapped in today. Y'all, I just give what the Lord tells me to give. So this is about knowing that, man, I don't know. Come on, Lord, we receive it. Knowing the power that you possess. And I receive it, because there have been a couple of things where, and I don't know who I was talking to about it, but I just want drop this in the chat. Soft is beautiful. Soft doesn't mean powerless. Okay, I'm moving on. Why? Because the Lord is trying to get us into receptive mode so we can receive. Didn't we talk about this yesterday? I don't even remember, child. I don't remember. I don't remember. Soft is beautiful. I think I know. Well, I know on my side where I can see over the past couple of days that this has happened. I've seen a couple of comments where it was like, you see things that men say or men trying to tell you can't tell me about. You can't. We do because you didn't agree with what was said. Oh, okay. Well, okay. But I don't. That's not. We'll talk about it later. But I don't think that's. I don't think that's not what's coming to my spirituals about that. I don't think that's. I don't think that's message. I don't think that's what's coming through with my from. I'm not getting that part. We'll talk about that later. But no, that's not what is resonating for me for this particular message. But we'll talk about it. I don't think that's not coming. That's not what I'm getting from that. What I am getting, but I know for myself over the past couple of days, and again, something I talked to my daughter about with last night as well, is simply as you're looking for teachers message, as you're looking for teachers, as you're looking for people who are going to lead, guide, and direct you, and whatever it is that you're doing, because all of us are going to have different instructors and different teachers. But be very mindful when you're looking for someone to lead, guide, and direct you, that they're coming from a place of love, compassion, that they're coming from a place of empathy. Because I think it's gonna be pivotal, because it's either gonna help you shift into receptive mode or it's going to keep you in action mode. And we're in a season where we're going to allow things to come to us. We're going to allow things to we're going to allow ourselves to receive. And I think that's more than anything, that's the message I'm getting from this, because a lot of us are trying to figure out, how do you start getting the things that are going to help you be better, do and have more. And it's about opening yourself up to receive. It's about working on your heart chakra, and it's actual work that you have to do. It's like you really have to learn how to be compassionate with yourself as well as with other people. So, but it has to start with you. It's like self-love and self-care. But they gave me the analogy of coaching, so I hope that makes sense. That's it for that. Okay, what else? Let me pull some scriptures so we can go. Um, because the Lord is trying to give us a life of ease and comfort. Yes, and we receive it. I kid you not, y'all. This morning at 8:28, I looked at the clock and I said, "Oh, I need to write that number down." And here is Romans 8:28, and I knew I was supposed to write it down. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, those who have been called according to his purpose. Remember, we talked about the telephone already, getting Jesus on the main line, calling, and just knowing that you have a lifeline. I feel like the Lord is getting ready to throw someone a lifeline. But this is going to, now look, now on the cut. Do you see this well? Look, y'all, on the cut. You see the well? What is this scripture? Psalm 63 and 1. You, God, are my God. Earnestly I seek you. I thirst for you. My whole being longs for you in a dry and parched land where there is no water. I can't make it up. I don't know. Okay, first things first. I don't know if someone's getting ready to have a renewed thirst for the Lord. I don't know. We talked about the woman at the well. I saw something. It was on YouTube. I saw a post on YouTube that talks about the Lord can use you no matter what you've been through. That's what that, thank y'all. That's what that post talked about. This is about being hydrated, okay? Hydrating your soul and really knowing that the Lord's for, remember we talked about communication, and he's trying to give you what you need. He's trying to quench your thirst. And a lot of us, this is about, look, the yacht, receptive energy. Some of you maybe going and getting by some water will be helpful, but it's like knowing that the Lord is enough. Even if you're going through suffering, trials, tribulations, whatever it is that you're going through, it's about knowing that the Lord is trying to quench your thirst. He's trying to give you what you're thirsty for. For some of you, this is about being thirsty. I heard this on a message I was listening to yesterday, or either I read it somewhere, but it literally was saying, like me, a lot of us are there's something that your spirituals, your inner man, if you will, if you want to call it that, your higher self, your spirit is yearning for. And maybe that's what's missing for you. If you're trying to figure it out, maybe you're trying to go and look for a coach, but the coach that you need is God. Look at the butterfly. And I can't tell you what to do, but I kid you not, a lot of times we will go try to look for something in someone else, and the Lord is trying to say or tell you that I'm the one that can actually quench that thirst and give you what it is that you're yearning for. But we will oftentimes go try to look at it or find it from someone else instead of going to the source. Drop that in the chat. I'm gonna go to the source. Okay. I'm gonna go to the source. I'm gonna go to the source and hydrate my soul versus trying to, like, I can't tell anybody what to do, but ultimately a person can only give you so much. It's not, and a person has to get, even these messages, you only getting a piece of what the Lord is giving. The rest of it is going to come from him because he's the source. But you got to be willing to go to him in order to receive it. Okay, what else? Even if this is understanding, if this is communication, if it's something that you're trying to make sense, go talk to God about it, because it feels like the ideas, the wisdom, that's where it's going to come from. We talked about wisdom yesterday. Go to the source. Go to the source. And a lot of times it's almost like we'll be running, not keep on running. We'll be running from the source. We'll be running from the Lord, but he's actually the one that has the knowledge, the wisdom, the insight, the understanding. And that's why he's like, listen, come talk to me about it before you go talk to someone else about it. Go see if you can get your answers can come from him. Okay, what else? You don't have to get it right the first time. Just be willing to try again if you don't. And Matthew 17:20 says, truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. So some of you, this could be you looking for answers about a situation, a struggle, a challenge, or some mountain that cannot get out, that won't get out of the way. Maybe for some of you, you're feeling like there's something, an obstacle that you can't overcome. And the Lord is trying to give you the answer, but you have to give him the time and allow him to show you that you actually have the power to move the mountain. And we already talked about this week that we're not going to give up. He's going to make the impossible possible, and you just have to believe in it. Some of you, this is an idea that's getting ready to come in, something that you weren't like, it's going to be the answer, the whatever you've been looking for with the library, whatever you've been searching for, whatever the key is. It feels like it's getting ready, or he's trying to unlock it, but it just feels like there's something missing. And maybe it's just you going to hydrate your soul, really tapped in, really allowing him to speak to you and giving him that time. I will say this as well, because they're talking about the friends cards. Remember this, that we can get information. The Lord will send people. He will send like your friends may give you a piece of the answer. Your friends may give you some wisdom, but again, ultimate wisdom and clarity and knowledge is going to come from the Lord. Okay. It is going to come from the Lord. So you don't be surprised if you get a message from your friends, or the people, even people that you work with, the symphonies out here, all of these cards out here. But ultimately, the source is where we need to be going for the answers, because only the Lord has the answer to your problem. Um, Only the Lord has the answer to your problem. Okay. And especially if you're trying to get out of an uncomfortable, like they just said, uncomfortable situation, if you're trying to get out of something, the Lord is the one who has the answers. But go to him before the unexpected happens. Somebody might be getting some unexpected communication as well, with this telephone and the thunderstorm. But whatever this communication is, it may be the key. It may be exactly what it is you've been praying for. Now on the flip side, if you've been praying and you've been looking for understanding and you've been looking for the Lord to give you the insight, the clarity, it feels like you're getting ready to get it. There's some opportunity, unexpected. There may be an unexpected phone call, some kind of communication that's coming in for someone. There's two telephones out here that is going to give you your second chance, give you your opportunity, give you what it is to help you start to really transition and move into this new beginning, this new way of living, this new way of life. So if this is your message, then don't be surprised. 5 to 10 days, the fives are coming back out. Y'all know we had the number 555. I want to say it was yesterday. So don't be surprised, because it feels like the Lord it feels like things are getting ready to be released. Let me say that. It feels like things have been held up. It feels like things have been, your blessings, your inheritance, whatever it is. Come on, the cardinal, look at the red bird. Whatever it is, it feels like things are finally at a point where they're ready to be released. So this is all just things that we have to make sure that we have in alignment so we can begin to receive. Okay. I'm doing this now surrounded by strong women, soft because I have never been in feminine. Thank you for being a wonderful example. This is me. Listen, you being in my life, all of y'all being in my life, it's just we all have to learn. But the Lord, if you've been in control, this is about all of us learning to just release the control and allow the Lord, allow our King to take care of us. That's the upside down kingdom, right? We just need to get in the mindset of allowing ourselves to be taken care of. Many of us don't know, especially if you've had to reside in your masculine energy, you don't know how to be taken care of because you've always been the one that's taking care of everyone else. Now, that's not to say that if you have a significant other or a partner that you won't take care of them. You will. But if you have always, many of us, if I say this for myself, I've always been the provider in the relationships, except for my marriage, because my ex-husband, he was different. But every relationship after him, so that's been from 2010 until now, I was the provider. I was the one with the house, the car, the whatever. I was the money maker. I was the one providing. And I'm not in that season anymore. I'm in the season where I've already told the Lord communication, conversations with God. I feel like this message is geared towards my women, but just take it how it resonates in your spirituals. And for my men, you deserve to be taken care of. Let me just say that. You deserve a woman who's going to take care of you. You deserve a woman who wants to take care of you, not because of what you do for her. Come on, God, this is reciprocity. There should be the type of relationship that most of you are praying for, or that the Lord is wanting to send to you, is one of balance and reciprocity. He's going to provide for you because he wants to. He wants to keep you protected. He wants to keep you safe. He wants to make sure you have what you need. And he's going to, because the keyword safe. Thank y'all. Keyword safe. Right? Many of us haven't experienced that. So just know that if there are new connections and new friendships, they're going to be the opposite of what you've experienced, because the Lord knows that you no longer need those types of relationships or friendships, and you need to tap into the other side of yourself that you haven't given yourself a time to explore. Does that make sense? So we're going to tap in. We're going to tap into the receiving side, but that starts with understanding that the Lord wants to take care of us and the Lord wants to provide for us. And you don't have to toil. You don't have to toil for everything. This is like the it's a true story when the Lord says you don't have to toil. You just have to be in your assignment. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not going to do the work, but you're going to love what you do, and the Lord is going to provide. He is going to provide the provision. So anyway, some of y'all might be receiving that phone call, and it's something that's getting ready to shift you into the life you want, deserve, and desire. I don't know who needs to receive this, but go talk to God. Go start just receiving, and let him be the first person that you receive from. I want to be taken care of and not have to be strong. I want to live in my family. Okay, I remember that part of it. Yes, I have said this before. Strong is not always a compliment. If you are, and I had that moment this morning with the Lord. strong is not always a compliment, because many of us are strong not because we want to be, but because we've had to be. You've had to be strong for you, your children, your family. You've had to be the strong one. You've had to be the one that's holding everybody up. Your circumstances, whatever it is that you're going through. Hence part of the message today being about the people that you're surrounding yourself with and the friends. Because most people, well, I know, let me just speak for myself, I can't say most people. Most of the time you be strong in person, but then you cry, but you suffering in silence. You going by yourself and you crying, but you got to show up and be strong, because everybody, when you on there, because everybody looks at you like, oh, you so strong, but people don't even understand and realize that you be struggling, right? That there are things that everybody struggles with. And so it's strong is not always a compliment, right? Strong is not always a compliment. And I have talked about this on the message before. And many of us, yes, we're in a season where we don't want to have to be the strong one. We want to be able to just be and receive and be safe and be okay and know that we're taken care of. But I will say again that that is going to start with the Lord. Hey, Sarah. Thank you, dear Swan. Blessings received in return. That the first place that you're going to get that from is the Lord. I hope that makes sense to somebody. Um, Psalm 3:3 and 4. But you, Lord, are a shield around me, my glory, the one who lifts my head high. I call out to the Lord, and he answers me from his holy mountain. Okay. So I'm always going to kick it back to y'all and be like, listen, we as women, we have had to endure so much. And it's cultural, it's societal. But I can tell you this, the best thing I did was just allow the Lord to start talking or taking care of me. I don't, and because I don't, and the one thing that I can tell you simply because of being in the Lord's kingdom, he takes care of everything. I do what I'm meant to do, and all the rest is taken care of. There's nothing that that I need that I don't get, as long as I'm doing the right part. As long as I'm doing as much as I can, as long as I'm doing what's necessary for me, he continues to take care. He does. And for some of you, especially my ladies, message, that's going to be the hardest thing for you to learn how to do. It's just let the Lord, for lack of a better way to put it, let the Lord love you. Does that was so good. Just let the Lord before us. Just let the Lord love you. Message. Just let the Lord love you, because when you experience His love, you'll never. There's some things that you'll never allow again. You'll understand what it truly means to feel safe and feel protected and feel taken care of and feel shielded. I wasn't planning on going there with the message this morning, but that's where the Lord went, and we receive it. For whoever needs this message. I I I I don't particularly feel like a lot of this was me. Mine was more so just, but I had the strong moment this morning because I was in praise and worship. Right. Yeah, drop that in the chat. Let the Lord that's so good. Just let the Lord love you first. Because if you let the Lord love you, then you will know how to love yourself. I hope that makes sense. I can't say that I completely, not let me love you. Shut up, Mario. You should let me love you. But I feel like that's what somebody needs to know. I don't know I don't know, but because I wouldn't know where on my radar to be talking about none of this morning. Uh, like just let the Lord love you first, because it's a different type of love, and I promise you that you'll never accept less if you let the Lord love you. You heard it, child. Child, I be getting down on the treadmill on that song. I ain't lying. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Y'all lucky I don't have a DJ because I would have been to played it already. Let the Lord love you. Because that's a different type of love. And you'll never settle for anything less. And for some of you, that's why the relationships, the fake relationships, the counterfeit relationships had to be removed. Because really, and I feel like a big part of this is just allowing the Lord, like, let the Lord in, okay? Your life is waiting for you to create it, so turn your dreams into reality. Yeah, this wasn't nowhere on my radar. I had my little moment. Yeah, that's my song, child. That's my song. I be getting it I be swinging out on the treadmill. I ain't been doing it. I'm gonna do right. But that is probably and for some of you, that's the only thing that's really gonna change the season that you're in. Can't nobody make you do it though. I can only tell you, plant the seed and say, hey, go talk to God about it. Cause like he's waiting, especially if you've been praying for your season to change. Y'all already know this because I've told y'all, like, man, that's the one thing I do. Like, Lord, I got to get out this season. I've been in this season too long. And even though it feels like I had to start all the way back from the bottom, which part? I don't want to forget it. Okay, let me say this to somebody. I touched on it, but they're bringing this back again. Don't go backwards. There was a very brief thought for me this morning that was getting ready to tell me to not go live on Instagram this morning. And then the Lord said, you better go live on Instagram. So be very mindful of following whatever the instructions are that the Lord has recently given you. Okay. Follow the instructions. Okay, you're gonna be tempted because it feels like message. It feels like you're going to be tempted to go backwards, and don't go backwards. Okay, um, that's all I got, y'all. We not going backwards. Message. Come on, prosperity princess. We receive it. We're not going backwards. Shout out, prosperity princess. So don't be tempted. I know. Look at the cross. Y'all better run. Psalm 62, 1 and 2. Truly, my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from him. Truly, he is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken. Okay. I don't know. Don't let the temptation get you. That's all I say. Don't let the temptation get you. Because we're not going back. Philippians 4 and 6. This is becoming one of my new favorite scriptures, y'all. I kid you not. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your request to God. He listening, and he's in a giving. He is a giving God. I will tell you that he is a giving God. So that's becoming it literally is becoming one of my new favorite scriptures. Because anytime I feel like I want to start worrying, I tell myself I ain't worrying. I ain't got nothing to worry about. I'm too taken care of. God got it. He's got help. He got me. He got my back. Nope, I'm not finna worry about that. Nope, I can't worry about how it's gonna get taken care of. I told her, look, I know he is my help button. Come on, help button. He is the help button. So it's coming. It's coming. Look, there go my baby. Let me see I'll see what she wants in a second. That's it. Just remember that. Is that it? I think that's all I got. Okay. Good morning, dearest one. Good morning. Okay, y'all. Look, my baby is calling me and she didn't call me twice. So clearly something is going on. Y'all, hydrate your soul and things. Drink your water. Say your gratitude. Have a fantastic and an amazing day in purpose and on purpose. And I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all, let my baby calling me twice. Let me see what she wants. Love y'all. Bye, y'all. Thank y'all. Child, let me see. Because she don't call me like that. I know I ain't got off yet. Hold on. Okay, love y'all. Bye, y'all. What?